Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 8, which I'm thinking is probably going to be the last episode of Direwolf20's mod spotlight covering Botania. Have you guys figured out that Botania is a big mod with a lot of stuff in it yet? I can't believe we're still... Episode 8! So, as amazing as that is, pretty much... we've got some stuff to do. We've got some things to cover today. So there's a bunch of nifty little things that you can do, a bunch of cool items to take a look at, and a few nifty things that you guys should know about Botania. We're going to take a look at some of the awesome items that you get from killing the Ritual of Gaia number 2, and then we'll probably talk about the Garden of Glass system right at the end. So let's get started taking a look at some cool stuff that we can see. So one of the cool things I want to show you guys first is actually a manipulation of some vanilla stuff that you can do. Normally in vanilla, you cannot use dispensers to plant seeds. However, you can using Botania. This is pretty useful for automating a bunch of stuff. Just wanted you to know about it. You can take a look in the book entry here about dispenser planting. It'll tell you all about what you can do. You can either use this to plant cocoa beans on jungle wood if you want. There's a bunch of neat stuff you can do. It also helps to automate farming with the Drum of the Wild. Another cool feature is glimmering orange flowers. These guys are really nice. They're basically regular flowers that emit light like glowstone does. So right now we have no light sources in the world. We place down the glimmering version of this flower, it will emit a light source in much the same way that glowstone would. Nice. You can also mount these glimmering orange flowers on some pasture seeds and dirt to get a floating flower in the world that emits light and doesn't need to be placed on top of dirt. Unlike normal flowers, it doesn't require dirt underneath it. It can just float in the world. It doesn't even have to have any block underneath it, for that matter. It can just float in the air doing its own happy little thing. Cool. You can even go one step further with these things and combine them with a functional flower. So, if you were to take your floating flower and combine it with a hopper hawk, you'll get a floating hopper hawk. Pretty cool. The floating hopper hawk, boom, will now act like a hopper hawk that floats in the world. Again, it doesn't have to have any blocks underneath it to support it. Sweet. And just like you might expect a hopper hawk to do, it'll work exactly the way normal hopper hawks do. It'll pick up items inside of its radius and drop them into adjacent chests. Cool. So the hopper hawk and any other Botania flower can be placed onto a floating mechanic so that you don't actually have to plant them on dirt. This can make for some pretty cool mechanics and effects. It should finally be noted that floating flowers, if you want to change their texture or look, you can use any kind of pasture seed. All the pasture seeds work, or you can even use snowballs if you want them to look snowy. Cool. Apparently decorative heads are a thing. If you drop some pixie dust and a skeleton skull and a prismarine shard and a golden apple and finally a name tag with a player's name on it, dun 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 dun, you're going to automatically create a head of that player. Cool. So, go ahead and drop your living rock on here. And you've got your Soren head. Nice. Speaking of Soren, he's been taunting me with the Cacophonium. Simply right-click any animal in the world, and whenever you right-click the Cacophonium going forward, it'll make that animal sound. There's also a block form of the Cacophonium that can be used as well. What you do is place the Cacophonium inside a note block, and you've got your Cacophonium block. Cool. And then this thing works with a redstone signal. Why anybody would want this is beyond me. But, Soren. Next up is the Tiny Potato. Easily made by dropping a potato in a mana pool. That's all there is to it. He's a friendly guy. If you look at the Lexicon Botania entry, you can see it's a tiny potato. It believes in you. You can do the thing. No, that's really all it is. He's just a friendly little dude who lives in your world. You can give him items by right-clicking on sides of blocks. The side that you click on does matter. But if you want to give him a nice little sword or even a little drill from Industrial Craft. And he's a friendly little guy that'll just help there and encourage you to do the cool things that you want to do in the world. You can also give him names. Cool. Let's see. Maybe you have to combine him with it to get the name. Or maybe in an anvil. There you go. You can just name them in the anvil straight up like that, like a name tag. So you don't actually have to use name tags. Hey, cool. He's got a nifty little thing on his head. Apparently there's a few Easter eggs as well. So if you want to name him something really funny, you can have a good time with him. Remember, he believes in you. You can do the thing.
Do it!
You want a beautiful sky to look at night? Just go ahead and place down your Starfield creator. Simply placing it in the world just enhances the sky above it, for a pretty good range as well. Neat. Incidentally, it should be noted there is a way to get the Gaia Guardian's head. I'm not going to tell you what it is, though. Something you guys have probably seen and used a lot, but don't know is added by Botania is the Blaze Lamp. The Blaze Lamp is a light-emitting block. Nice. That works pretty similar to other light-emitting blocks. So nothing too exciting there. Do note, by the way, it's a nice way to store your blaze rods, and you can convert them back into blaze rods if you want. You can also throw it in a furnace that, like a coal block, will help to smelt items, and a lot of them at that. One of the chapters that I usually don't pay much attention to are decorative blocks, because I'm not much of a decorative kind of guy. But I want you guys to know about them because there's plenty of decorative builders out there. Living Rock and Living Wood each have different decorative variants that you can add by doing a bunch of different things. So lots of different mechanics there that you can play with. You can also get some Glimmering Living Wood, and then there's also nether quartz that you can combine with all kinds of cool stuff. All these items can be crafted into all their decorative block counterblocks, just like quartz blocks are crafted. So you can see that, smoky quartz. You can get some blue quartz and red and purple and all kinds of different quartz. And then, you know, you can pretty much just play with those. There's also a few reed blocks and thatch and roof tiles. Bunch of decorative things that you guys can check out for yourselves. The quartz blocks, as you can see in here, are added by Botania. Bunch of cool looking things you can just place in the world, and they look a little bit nice. Cool. Next up is Shimmering Mushrooms. You can find these in the World Gen underground, or you can turn them into Shimmering Mushrooms from normal mushrooms. Basically, you can use them just like normal mushrooms. They're pretty neat. You find them underground and they'll emit a small amount of light. Another example of a decorative kind of block is Portuguese Pavement. There's a bunch of different colors of it, as you can see here, and it's crafted with cobblestone and living rock typically. Pretty cool. Portuguese Pavement also comes in slab and stone variants, and they're just pretty cool looking decorative blocks. Again, I'm not much of a decorative builder, but you guys might be. And Basky added this block just to trip up my tongue. Azulos are a type of decorative block. Basically, lapis plus a block of quartz makes one, and then you place them in a crafting grid by themselves to cycle through each of the 12 or so different patterns. They're pretty neat looking blocks, as you can see, when placed in the world, and there's a bunch of different patterns here that you can play with if you're interested in making cool stuff. Not bad, right? So just neat little patterns to build with. Next up, let's talk about some of the really cool items you get from fighting the Gaia Guardian Mark II. When we did the Gaia Guardian fight, we talked about the fact that a Ritual of Gaia summons a boss that lets you fight a pretty tough guy. Ritual Gaia 2 is made, you have to get Terra Steel and Gaia Spirits together to make yourself a Gaia Spirit ingot. You use that to summon a Gaia Spirit, and it will be a much more difficult fight. Much more difficult. Trust me, it's a brutal one. This allows you to get the Relics of a Seer. They're pretty cool. Mentioned in the book here, it's probably folklore. Hint, it's not. Basically what happens is whenever you kill the Gaia Guardian Mark II, you're going to get 1 dice of fate. Right-clicking this item gives you one of the 6 relics that are available in Botania. I don't think you can see them in JEI. So one of them, for example, is the Eye of the Flugel, which we'll see, but they aren't listed as relics. But it's pretty easy. Just right-click your Dice of Fate, boom, and you'll get one of the 6 items that are available to you. And this time, I got the Ring of Odin. Now, this ring is bound to you. If you try to give this ring to another player, it will damage them. So you don't want to give your relics away. It's bound to you when you roll the dice, so you can give the Dice of Fate to other players, I'm pretty sure, just not the ring itself. So the Ring of Odin is pretty cool. Let's take a look at what it does. Now that we've found the Ring of Odin, if we open up our book, we'll see the Relics of a Seer 2. It appears as if they're real, and it explains the mechanics of the Dice of Fate in here. Neat. You can also look up what the Ring of Odin does. It's one of the 3 mythic rings of a seer. There's 3 of them in total, and you can see what it does. As well as an addition of 10 extra hearts of health, the Ring of Odin protects the wearer from various kinds of elemental damage, such as drowning, suffocation, fire, or starvation. Pretty cool. It can also be combined with the other 2 rings to create one ultimate ring that has the same effects. So, long story short, you equip this bad boy in your ring bauble slot, and we can remove our Crimson Pendant, and now we don't have to worry about taking damage from fire or drowning. You can also see that I've got 10 extra hearts of health that are being refilled as we speak. We shouldn't have a problem with drowning or anything else. We'll still have our air bubbles there, but let's come back in a second when they're drained. And we'll see that because I'm wearing this awesome ring, I'm not having any problems down here. Sweet. It protects against all kinds of environmental damage, so it's pretty cool. Let's roll the dice and see what next item we get. Oh, it landed on 5 again. So, really unlucky for me, but it does a dice roll 1 through 6. If you already have the object that you are trying to get, it'll just vanish. So, not good. I think if this item is lost forever, by the way, there's no way to really get it back. So do that yourself a favor and be careful. Ooh, I got the Fruit of Grecia. Nice. Let's go ahead and look in the book to see what that's all about. Basically, it's unlimited food, from what I recall. Eternally nourish the brave soul who earned it. It can be eaten similar to any other piece of food, but instead of utilizing mana to feed, it uses mana from one's inventory. Basically, you can eat it as much as you want, and you'll never run out. Sweet. Oh, tricky Loki. I just found the Ring of Loki. Allows for the wearer to tap upon the trickster Loki to effectively be in multiple places at once. This is a complicated ring. Basically, the way it works is you need to shift right-click a block in the world with an empty hand while having your Ring of Loki equipped. This begins the procedure of marking other blocks in the world. Once the source block is selected, shift right-clicking other blocks will add them to the relative positions affected by this power. So basically, if we had a couple blocks in the world, so like this one, and this one, right? And then we shift right-clicked in the world on this one, and this one, it would make all their relative positions bound. When you're done, shift right-click on the original block again. Now what happens is you should be able to place one block in the world in the original position and it'll automatically place the other 2 for you. For some reason this isn't working in my instance and I might have a mod that's conflicting and causing an issue. But this would also work for breaking a block, so if I broke this one it would automatically break these 2 as well. Pretty cool ability. Unfortunately it's just not working for me to demonstrate, but take my word for it, it's pretty slick. Nice. I just got the Eye of the Flugel, one of the ones that I already mentioned to you guys. The Eye of the Flugel is a teleport device. Having the Eye of the Flugel allows you to shift right-click to bind your position to somewhere in the world. Then, anywhere else in the world, hold right-click, and you'll automatically be teleported back there. Also, if you've got a Flugel tiara equipped, having the Eye of the Flugel in your inventory will allow you to fly for a bit longer than normal. Oh boy, another ring. The Ring of Thor. The Ring of Thor is pretty cool. It bestows upon the wearer the might of the thunder god Thor. It drastically increases the strength of area of effect mining with the Terra Shatterer. So basically when you have that Terra Shatterer, it's going to make that thing a whole lot cooler. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a Terra Shatterer Mark SS, which remember it takes like 1,000 full mana pools to get all the way up to SS rank. But basically having this ring equipped is going to make you able to mine so much more with this crazy device. Let's shift right click to activate it, of course, and try that again. Hello. Basically makes it 3-dimensional. So you can see just the massive amount of mining we just did. How crazy is that, huh? So obviously without the ring of Thor equipped here, we would only do that much. Pretty big difference, right? What's cool is you can combine these 3 rings into a table to get the Ring of a Seer, the ultimate one, which basically has all 3 effects stacked together on it. Neat, right? And I think this is the last one, right? We did all 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I'm missing one. The Key of King's Law. Oh yeah, the Fruit of Grecia, that's 6. Right, so the Key of King's Law, the last of the 6 relics. Pretty powerful ability. It materializes weapons at command. Holding right-click with this key will summon a plethora of varied weapons from somewhere. Up to 20 weapons can be created. Releasing the key will launch them all at the same time at the target wherever you're looking, and they explode on contact. So, pretty cool, right? Nice. That's what I'm talking about. We need to find a test subject to use this on. Come here, cows. Nice, right? Neat. So those are the 6 relics. As you can probably imagine, you might be able to get it from killing the tier 2 Gaia Guardian 6 times, but you'd have to be really lucky. You probably have to kill her a handful more than 6 times in order to get all 6. If you're lucky, you'll get the one that you want if you only want 1 or 2 of them. But if you do want to get all 6, you'll probably have to kill her quite a few times to be lucky enough to get that, because your dice rolls might roll on one that you already got, and then the dice will roll and vanish in the thin air. And like I said, if you lose your rings or items somehow, I don't think there's a way to get them back. So, you know, I mean, obviously you could cheat them in, but that's on you. So the final thing I want to talk to you guys about is the Garden of Glass. Those of you who are fans of Skyblock and would like to do a Supreme Challenge map with Botania, there's a separate mod that you download called Garden of Glass. You can find it on CurseForge or on Botania, Botania's website. Basically, you just download this jar and put it into your mods folder, and what it'll do is add the Garden of Glass world type, and it'll also modify a bunch of recipes in Botania to make it so that you can play on a skyblock. So creating a world in Garden of Glass world type is basically a skyblock map, and it's meant to be played with just Botania and vanilla. And theoretically, you can get every item in the game, and you can do everything in the game, and you can produce all the resources you would need from a basic skyblock, pretty cool, using this mod, just Botania and vanilla. That's it. So were you to play with just Botania and vanilla, oh look, cool. It even gives you a little water source down there and a couple other things. Neat. So you can see here, this is the one probe tooltip. It does give you some basic books. Obviously, I've got other mods in my instance, but it's meant pretty much to just be played by itself. It starts you off, obviously, with the Lexic Botania, and there's just some cool information in here, obviously, that you would normally have, but you can see there's basically a bunch of stuff. So, literally, the entire game is playable from this point, given all the stuff that you've got right here. Cool, right? So if you're interested in doing a challenge map that's strictly Botania and vanilla, you can install literally just Botania, the Botania Garden of Glass mod, and start a world type of Garden of Glass, and you're ready to roll. Cool, right? An example of one of the changes in Garden of Glass is that the orchid is a lower tier flower. Obviously, this is the flower that allows you to generate ores. So there's a little hint to you as one way to generate ores. There's obviously many others. Obviously, this can be combined with other Skyblock mods, so if you wanted to do Ex Nihilo and Ex Astris and all those other mods, that's totally an option. But the Garden of Glass mod, like I said, is fully intended to be playable in a Skyblock to allow you to do everything in Minecraft simply using Botania and the Garden of Glass mod together. So it's pretty cool. With that, I think it's finally time, believe it or not, to wrap up the Botania Mod Spotlight. So this was episode 8. I've never had a Mod Spotlight go beyond, I think, like 5 episodes. So, Botania, you currently hold the title for the longest Mod Spotlight series ever. It is a huge mod. Those of you who haven't played with Botania before, I highly recommend it. You can pretty much automate everything in the game and do a lot of cool stuff with Botania. Those of you who like playing with other mods, it's definitely useful with them as well, and it can heavily augment other mods and other playstyles. So for now, Daryl20 signing off until Vasky adds more crazy stuff, at which point I'll have to do another updated Spotlight. Alright guys, take it easy.